Hello and welcome to the Foods and Nutrition page. If you're here, that means that you're most likely signed up for either Foods 1 or Foods 2 this school year. And although we may not know exactly what entail or what is going to happen this school year, whether we're remote or in person or blended, we are happy to see and have you in our classes this year and look forward to meeting you, whether that's virtually or in person. I'm going to go ahead and go through just the basics of our foods and nutrition programs since we are not doing open house in person. My name is Miss Botts. I am the one speaking right now to you. I am on the left side of your screen, and below my picture you will see my fall schedule. I do teach Foods 2 and Foods 1. I am the only Foods 2 teacher, so if you're signed up for Foods 2, that means you have me. If you are signed up for Foods 1, you will either have myself or you will have our other foods teacher, Mrs. Clinkscales, who is on the right side of your screen. And you can see her fall schedule listed below her picture as well. Just really quick, Foods and Nutrition 1. You guys, this class is a hands-on class. Obviously, but with virtual learning, it's going to look a little bit different. So just bear with us with going through the processes of that. We will encourage you to cook at home if possible and if you have parent approval. But if we are in person at all and blended at all, that means you'll be doing your labs with us in class. Foods and Nutrition 1 is open for grades 9 through 11. It is recommended for grades 10 through 11, but that doesn't mean that ninth graders cannot take this course. If you are a ninth grader and you haven't signed up for foods yet, a really good class to sign up first would be Principles of Family and Human Services. It gives you a little bit of everything within the family consumer sciences realm. So you'll get a little bit of foods, you'll get a little bit of apparel and sewing, you get a little bit of relationship management, time management, things like that, which would really help prepare you to get into the next level courses like Foods 1 and Foods 2. But again, it's not a requirement. So if you are in ninth grade and you're signed up for Foods 1, that's great. We're happy to have you. Again, the teachers who teach Foods and Nutrition 1 are going to be myself and Mrs. Clinkscales. So you might be wondering, what do we do in Foods 1? Okay, so the basic idea of Foods 1 is that it's like Cooking 101. It is Nutrition 101. It's the first step in learning how to make food for yourself and how to make healthier choices so that you can live a long, happy, healthy life. Okay, so some units that we talk about in Foods 1 are obviously kitchen safety and sanitation. That's the first thing we go through in both courses to make sure you're using things correctly so that you don't get hurt. And so also that when you're preparing food for others, you're not making them sick. We also talk about different ways to prepare food. We're going to talk a lot about our relationship with food and how that impacts our food choices, how we can start to make healthier choices and incorporate those choices into our daily foods. We have a unit on baking, which incorporates yeast breads and also a cake unit or cupcake unit. We do have a unit on manners and etiquette. So the basics of if you go sit down at a restaurant, what are things that you should avoid doing and what are things that are polite to do. And then lastly, we'll talk about meal planning, budgeting, preparing meals, whole meals. If you want to help with Thanksgiving dinner, how do I start that plan and that process? When do I need to put the turkey in? Then when do I need to put the macaroni and cheese in and the beans in order for everything to get out at the same time? So that's kind of what that last final unit is going to entail. So basically, ask yourself, do you want to learn how to prepare simple recipes from scratch instead of out of a box? If you answer yes, then the Foods 1 is right for you and you're in the right place. Okay, hopefully if you're listening to this video and you're going into Foods 2, you have already learned how to make some things from scratch and we'll be moving forward from there. So some grading aspects and what to expect in Foods 1. Foods 1 and Foods 2 are similar in both of these, that they're graded on a point system. So if you have a small activity, it's going to be less points. If you have a big project, it's going to be more points. Tests are usually larger points. quizzes are smaller points. The more points you earn, the better grade you get, so on and so forth. Okay, so it is really important to turn things in. It's really important to give an effort and get as many points as possible. Basically, again, this is going to be an interesting year because we're doing a lot of remote learning. But typically we do participate in a huge variety of activities. So you might be doing group work. You might be doing projects individually or with groups. Obviously, there are cooking labs. We do like to make things competitive and have little competitions. Of course, you have to learn the material, so that comes in the form of lecture and notes. Your teachers will be doing demonstrations. We'll have guest speakers come in. Typically, we'll have a rep from Johnson & Wales come in and do a demonstration for you guys and speak to you about the college and the opportunity. And so those are the types of things that you're going to do in Foods 1. Okay, these are just some examples of cooking labs that Foods 1 classes have done recently. This is not the whole list, but this is just to give you an idea as to what you'll be making. Again, everything is from scratch, so nothing's out of a box. We're going to be making buttermilk pancakes. We've made fettuccine alfredo, coffee cake, chili mac and cheese, pizza with homemade pizza dough, brownies from scratch, cinnamon rolls from scratch. I know soft pretzels are kind of on the list somewhere in there. So again, there is room for change, but these are just some things that we've made in the past in Foods 1. So the big picture, Foods and Nutrition 1, if you're signed up for this course, hopefully that means that you're either interested in starting your path towards a career in this industry, or you simply are looking for an enjoyable course to get hands-on experience to help you learn skills that's not only going to be good for right now, but for your future. So being able to make food for your family, whether that's your family now or your future family of your own. Okay, let's go ahead and quickly move on to Foods and Nutrition 2. This is going to be open for grades 10 through 12. I would recommend Food and Nutrition 2 for grades 11 to 12. And I say that because it does have a huge component. It does do a quick turn into the industry world. So we're going to be learning all things of how to have a career in this industry. Okay, so the only prereq for this is that you have taken and passed Foods and Nutrition 1. Again, I am speaking. This is Miss Botts, and I am the only Foods 2 teacher. So you will have me if you are signed up for Foods 2. So again, what do we do in Foods 2? Basically, I just kind of mentioned we take your Foods 1 skills and content and knowledge, and we amp it up about 10 notches. Okay, so Foods 1 is kind of more like how can I prepare food for myself and at home, and Foods 2 takes that and puts it into the workplace. So in saying that, you actually do get the opportunity to go through the entire ServSafe Manager certification training program, and then you get to sit for the exam if you meet certain requirements and get a 5-year industry credential. You guys, I can't explain how awesome it is for a high school student to get this certification. You could be leaving high school, or you could be still in high school as a junior or senior, 17 and 18 years old, and have this manager certification. And as soon as you hit that age requirement, you can get a manager position at a fast food restaurant, at a regular restaurant, at any type of food setting like that. This certification is going to give you a leg up. I've had students go from earning $7 an hour or minimum wage to $10 an hour just by getting this certification. I can't promise that for you, but it's something that you'll want to talk to your manager about if you go through Foods 2 and go through this training program. Okay, moving on. We also talk obviously about different careers in culinary. I think our first instinct is that chef is the only job you can have in this industry, and that could not be further from the truth. We have so many, hundreds of jobs that you could find in the culinary, hospitality, beverage industry. It really is just endless. We also have a huge emphasis on nutrition. We talk about it through the life cycle. We talk about it as a sports nutrition. So if you're an athlete or you like to be physically active, sports nutrition is part of this unit. We do talk about cuisines from around the world. So like the Mediterranean, we talk about the Asian cuisines. We talk about of course, the North American cuisines, talk about Canadian cuisines, and then we also kind of bring it closer to home and talk about the importance of eating and purchasing local food and where our food comes from. Our last unit is going to be covering entrepreneurship. This is one of my favorite units because we actually have a big project in this unit, and it's the Food Truck Wars, where you get in a small group of your choice and you guys create a brand new food truck concept. You create a menu, you take one of the items off your menu, and you actually make that in the lab. And then we have guest judges come in and they taste test your item. They look at your food trucks that you've created, your menus you've created, and they end up choosing a winner. It is my favorite project that we do. And again, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like this semester or this year due to COVID and the situation that we find ourselves in. But I do hope that we're at least there in person for this project. Again, this is just pretty much mimicking Foods 1. It is also graded on the point system. So, of course, labs, activities, participation, projects, you're all going to get points for those things. So, again, you'll be taking part in lecture and notes. You guys, this is not just an easy class. Foods 1 and Foods 2 is heavy on content, but it's also heavy on being interactive and hands-on. So it's not just lecture and notes. It's not just demonstrations. It is a combination of the two. So again, this is your first warning. That is not just easy peasy. You are going to have to put the work in, but it is rewarding in the end. These are just some labs that we've done, and excuse my date up here, I forgot to change. But these are some labs that we've done in Foods 2 recently. We've made Oreo truffles. Pizza bagels is one of our first labs that we do just to kind of get you used to the kitchens and where things are located. We make a vegetable stir fry where you actually practice your different knife cuts like your julienne. You'll do mincing, you'll do chopping, you'll do slicing, and then you're going to put everything all together. We do pasta carbonara. You make a homemade stromboli with a homemade dough, egg rolls, crepes, and then, of course, we do have our food truck wars where you make something of your choice. Okay, and again, this is not it's not promised that we're going to make these things exactly. Sometimes if I get a student who brings me a recipe that looks really good, I'll incorporate that into our labs. So again, big picture here. Foods and Nutrition 2 is for students who are willing to work hard, put forth a solid effort, learn to work with teammates, and who want to have fun learning to cook new foods. You do need to have a positive attitude and a go-get-em mentality. Like I said, it is going to be lecture and note-based, but then, of course, we supplement that with the fun activities, the hands-on experiences, the cooking labs, etc. And I will just leave you with this. No one is born a great cook. One learns by doing, and that is one of my favorite chefs, Julia Child. Of course, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to myself or Mrs. Clinkscales. If you go to the J.M. Robinson homepage and find our websites, our emails are located there, and we would be happy to get back to you. I hope you guys are happy to be here. We can't wait to meet you again, whether that's virtually or in person, and we are happy to have you in Foods 1 and Foods 2. Thanks so much.